see any mushrooms? Yeah. Thank you.
Good job.
Yay! Yeah, basket. Back again. Hello, Merry Christmas. It is the 13th of December today, and I had intentions about posting this video earlier in December, but I was very sick last week. So, and as you can see, I have my tree up. We cut it down 10 days ago, but we haven't decorated it yet because sickness hit our household that very evening that we cut down our tree. So maybe eventually it'll have lights and decorations on it, but at the moment I'm just feeling so low energy, and so is my husband, and our daughter's slightly more fussy than normal just because we're all not feeling very good. But yeah, that is the reason I'm sitting next to an empty tree. It has water in it. It'll be good. It'll survive. It just doesn't have its decor on it yet. But we have time. It's only the 13th. So I just thought I would do a little kind of Christmassy video, a December knitting update. I don't really have very many Christmassy knits on the needles right now. I have a lot of gift knits on the needles, and they're not necessarily festive, but I will show them to you anyways. And I've had a little bit of a frustrating time with some of my knits recently. This is like spilling over from my last couple of videos because I've been having a frustrating time with my knits in the past few months, but yeah, I'll update you on them anyways because knitting is always a process, and making things the way that you want them to be made is always a process, and it doesn't always work out on the first or second or third or fourth try. And so you just have to be gracious and patient with yourself, I guess. And that's a lesson that I feel like I'm really learning this season. This is Tivoli. I may have introduced her in a different video. I'm not sure. I don't even know if you can see her in the frame. Anyway, she's there. Her name is Tivoli. She's named after Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen. And we got her during lockdown when we were living in England. And so she immigrated to Canada with us when we moved back home. So yeah, she's from Derbyshire. We went to Derbyshire to pick her up. We were living in Cheshire. Anyhow, that's the story on Tivoli. I don't know why I thought you needed to know that, but it's just fun. I only have 2 finished objects, right? No. Okay, I have another finished object since last video, but I've given it away. So I'll insert a picture here. But it's the Ellen's Coming Home set by Petite Knit. And then the Shetland Lace Bonnet by Fox and Folk. And these were both for my friend who had a baby at the beginning of November. So she had a little girl, and I finished this set for her and dropped it off. And I actually ended up, so a few weeks later, I went over to visit with them, and I noticed that her daughter was wearing the suit, but the buttons that I had chosen were too small for the buttonholes, so it kept on coming out. And then also I noticed that the length just wasn't enough, like it wasn't long enough in the arms, legs, and bottom. So I ended up actually taking the set home with me and ripping back, extending the bottom so that there was an extra buttonhole, and then changing out the buttons so that they were larger, and then extending the arms and legs. And it worked out way better. But I actually find with baby knits in general, most of the ones that I've done, I've had to lengthen because they fit well on like the width, but the length is always like shorter than what you want it to be. So if you're getting into baby knits, or maybe you have a lot of experience in baby knits, my personal experience having a daughter who's now almost 17 months old, and then gifting baby knits for a lot of my friends, they are usually not long enough. So I now kind of have a mental note to just lengthen every baby knit that I make, basically. And even though I meet gauge and everything, it just isn't long enough. So anyway, that's that. So that's a finished object that I forgot about, that you don't get to see like me holding it up, but you can see a picture of it. Hi, editing Michaela here, because I completely forgot about another finished object that I have since last video, and that is my daughter's Christmas sweater. So I thought I would just quickly show it to you. I'm sorry this video is a little bit all over the place and scatterbrained. I honestly, being sick, I had a very high fever for like 3 days, and it just completely made my brain like come out of my head. I feel like I took like 6 days off of knitting, which is completely unheard of, and I feel like I'm just kind of coming back to life. So yeah, I apologize for the scatterbrainedness of this episode, and for the past few. I feel like anyway, my brain isn't where it should be, is what I'm trying to say. But here is my daughter's Christmas sweater that I finished for her. So if you remember from the last video, I had casted this on after finishing my terpsichore scarf, and it's really beautiful. It is the Treeline sweater. I'll have the information, the name, and the designer on the side here. And I knitted the 2-year size, and she's not even a year and a half yet. She's nearly a year and a half old. But I thought it could be like oversized this year, and then next year it would fit her properly. And I was going to knit the sleeves shorter. I talked about that in the previous video. I was going to knit the sleeves shorter and then go back in and knit them longer for next year. But I actually realized that the length of the sleeve that was called for in the 2-year-old pattern was basically the length of her arm now. So I'm a little bit confused, because I feel like my daughter isn't larger than, she's not like longer than her age. She's like, she fits in her, she's the right size for the age that she's at, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if the pattern just maybe wasn't graded well, or I'm not sure what happened with that. But anyways, I ended up knitting the sleeves to the length that the pattern called for, and they are basically perfect for her now. So next year it'll be too short. So I'll still go in next year and redo it and make it longer. That's still a plan, but it was just a bit funny that the 2-year size, if I did it next year, would have been too short for her, I think. But anyway, it's really pretty. I'll insert some like kind of footage of her wearing it. I did post a little reel on my Instagram to celebrate finishing that up and having her wear it, and she wore it to go cut down the Christmas tree, and it was really cute. So just to go over quickly, this was Cascade 220 in the color red, and this was a North Arm Farm wool, just undyed, from North Arm Farms up in Pemberton in British Columbia. So it was like a local wool that I picked up from the farm itself. And yeah, I have a lot left. I picked up 4 skeins of Cascade 220 because I was really worried about losing the game of Yarn Chicken, because that's been a pattern in my life recently. And I didn't even use 2 skeins to finish this, so I have 2 1/4, I think, skeins left of Cascade 220, and then I have a lot left of the white as well, so that's fine. Maybe I'll knit her another sweater for next year. My husband also expressed interest in a sort of Christmassy hat for next year, So maybe I'll use some yarn for that too. Who knows? It's fine. I'm not really bothered about having a lot of leftover yarn. I mean, scraps are kind of annoying, but there's always scrappy projects to be done. I just can't stand running out of yarn and losing the game of Yarn Chicken because I've gone through that way too many times now. Yeah, so I'm going to play it safe from now on, I think. Hopefully, I tell myself. Anyway, thanks for hearing me ramble about this sweater. It's really beautiful. I really like it. It's a nice pattern. Would recommend, but maybe take a look at the sizing more closely if you are interested in knitting this for a child. There's also adult pattern. Like, there's an adult version of this pattern, so if you like the pattern but don't have a kid to knit for, then there is one available for you. So, okay, cool. And then the only other two finished objects I have of recent are two scrunchies for my friends. So these are for, I have two friends from church who are sisters, and I meet up for brunch with them every month, and I'm meeting up next week, so I figured I could make them little scrunchies. This is for the older sister who likes kind of darker, moodier, richer colors, and then the younger sister who likes gingham, and this is kind of just my take on gingham, and it turned out really big because of the color work, but I really like the way they turned out. And I based it off of the pattern for the Cashmere twist scrunchie. I believe that's a free pattern, but I didn't follow it exactly. I did less. I think I made them smaller than what the pattern calls for. I can't remember exactly what I did, but it basically, I based it on that pattern. So if you use that pattern, that's pretty much what I did. Okay, a few works in progress, and most of them are gift knits. I'm getting warm. Actually, I might just strip my sweater off because I am getting really warm. Okay, works in progress are all gift knits right now, apart from one. But you've seen that one before, and that's my Stockholm Slipover V-neck. We talked about this a couple videos ago, and how I was having a hard time with the side ribbing bands, and they were just too big. They stuck out too much, and they made like a weird gap here. So a lot of you in the comments said that if I did it again with significantly less stitches, it should solve the problem. So I started with, I believe, 134 stitches, and I decreased that to 94, I want to say. So like significantly less. And it was too cinched in after that. So then I did like 104 stitches, I believe, and it was a good amount along the top, but then at the bottom it still had that weird gaping. So I was watching, I didn't really know what to do. I put it down for a little while, and then I was watching a video by Paris Well with Knitting, Jennifer, and she was doing a video with another person. I can't remember who that person was, but they were talking about how she had knitted a vest that had this double stitch decrease, a double decrease underneath the arms, so that there was a V-neck, not a V-neck, but like a V shape under the arm as well, and that ended up making it so that it was kind of flush to the body. And I thought that was really clever, so I think I'm gonna do that. I haven't done it yet. It was only a couple days ago that I watched that video, but I can just use basically the same formula as what Petite Knit has in the pattern for the V-neck and do it underneath the arm. So I think what I'm going to do is start off with 104 stitches again, or maybe I should increase to like 108. I don't know. And then every other round I will decrease by 2 stitches underneath the arm. And hopefully 4th time's the charm, and I'll get it right, and then I can just complete the vest, because everything else is done apart from the two. I undid both of the sides, and then I just need to weave in the ends, and then it's finished. And I've been working on this project since the beginning of October. Thought I would have it finished by Thanksgiving, which was like the 11th of October. Obviously didn't have it finished by then. So yeah, hopefully soon that will be all done and I can move on from that project and also just wear it. I just want to wear it. Yeah, so that's the update on that. And then, okay, so I started, so many babies happening in my life right now. So 3 of my friends had babies this past fall, 1 in October, 2 in November. I knitted stuff for them, all good and done. Now I have a friend due in January, mid-January, a friend due at the end of February, a friend due at the beginning of March, and a friend due at the beginning of May. So there's 4 more babies that I want to knit for. And the 3 that are closest, the January, February, March babies, they're all from my church, and my church, they always do like a baby shower for babies that are born. And they're doing, so when my daughter was born, they threw a baby shower for me and then another baby boy who was born a few weeks later. So it was like a dual baby shower together. And so they're throwing a 3 baby shower, like 1 party for 3 babies. So, and I don't know when that's going to be. They haven't announced the date yet. So I'm kind of scared that it's going to be soon because the first baby is due in at the beginning of January. But they also might wait until the babies are born. So I don't know. And maybe I'll just give the gifts when the babies are born because I don't want any babies to outgrow anything if I have to wait for the shower. Anyway, I'm having to decide on these things. So I decided to start knitting. I'm going to knit each baby a cardigan and a bonnet because I think those are really practical. Those are the things that I really liked putting on my very young child. It's easy to button up a cardigan for a baby, and then bonnets, they have ties. They don't fall off. And some people are nervous about the ties, but I've never had an issue with it. And I've used bonnets for our daughter. She still wears bonnets. I still knit bonnets for her. Since she was newborn, like her whole life she's worn bonnets. So yeah, 3 bonnets, 3 cardigans. So I started knitting 2 cardigans. 2 of the babies are going to be girls, and 1 of the baby we don't know, and they're not going to find out. So I'm knitting 2 feminine cardigans and 1 neutral cardigan. So I started knitting 2 cardigans at the same time. One little pink one in Drops Baby Merino, and this is Ellen's cardigan, I believe, by Petite Knit. I've knitted this pattern before, so this is the second time I've done it. And it has pockets. The pattern has pockets. I'm not going to include pockets in this because it's for a newborn and she doesn't need pockets. Yeah, so it's just a very light pink. So at the same time as I casted this one on, I casted on also a Baby Bella cardigan. You know I love this pattern. By Lena Holm Samso in Durarum Natura Albertine. It looks a bit funny now because it's lace and I haven't blocked it, but I have 2 skeins of this. I have 2 skeins of this, and that's enough to knit a baby cardigan. However, I've lost my second skein for this sweater, and I've turned the house upside down looking for it. I've checked in all of my project bags. I've checked in all of the spaces that I store yarn, and I cannot find that second skein. And it's been weeks of this kind of sitting, and this is for the baby that's due mid-January. So I started to get really stressed out because I don't think I can finish this project in time for that baby to come because I can't find the yarn that I need, which is absolutely ridiculous. This has never happened to me before. I've never lost yarn for a project before. So, yeah, it's very annoying. So I started over, and I started over about 3 days ago. I went to my local knit shop. I picked up this yarn that I've never used before, but I've had my eye on for a while. It's the Mode at Rowan Alpaca Wool. And it's in the color Fawn. So it's kind of a dusty brown. It might show up as like a gray or a purple. I'm not exactly sure what the camera's picking up, but it's definitely a sort of, it's not like a warm brown, it's more like a neutral brown, or like maybe colder toned brown with like a dustiness to it. It's really pretty. It is 50% alpaca and 50% wool, and it's very soft. So I decided to use that to reknit the Baby Bella cardigan because I really like, oops, everything's falling down. I really like this pattern. Yeah, so I finished the yoke and I've split off for sleeves, and in the pattern you're actually supposed to do the sleeves first and then do the body after, but I never do that because I like to get some length in the body first before I start on a sleeve. It just feels more complete to me that way. So yeah, I started this 3 days ago on the 11th, 2 days ago. Yeah, I started on the 11th, so I guess that was 2 days ago. And I'm quite happy with it. I like the neutral. The mom of the baby who's born in January told me she likes neutral colors and she likes mustard yellow. So her original sweater was supposed to be a kind of mustardy yellow. And now I'm doing a neutral. And I really like this. I think it's really beautiful. I think that yeah, I'm still upset that I lost my other skein. It'll show up eventually, hopefully, and then I can finish it for maybe another little girl in the future. But for now, it'll just be kind of left in my closet until that yarn shows up. And if it never shows up, then I don't know. Maybe I'll undo it and use this one skein for something else because I'm not going to order another one. It's not worth it. So yeah, basically that's my update on that. That's what's happened. For acquisitions, all I really have purchased is the Mode at Rowan alpaca wool. And I actually purchased 6 skeins of this because I have plans to make my daughter also a cardigan at some point. So I kind of allocated 2 skeins for this one and 4 skeins for that one because I'm going to knit it in like the 2 to 3 year age so that she can wear it oversized this spring and then properly next season. So I'm hopefully I'll be able to cast that on as soon as I'm finished with some of the baby gift knits that I'm doing right now. But that is taking all of my mental energy and space at the moment. And I love gift knitting. I love knitting for babies. I love baby knits, but I am growing a little bit tired of it because I feel like that's all I'm doing right now. And it is kind of all I'm doing right now for the most part. But there's just a lot of babies being born right now, and I know I'll be kicking myself if I don't take the advantage, like take the opportunity to work on some baby knits while these children are still really young. So I do enjoy it, but I'm looking forward to everyone just having their babies and no other babies being born for a while, so I can focus on other things and work on other projects. But that's just life for me at the moment. All my friends are of that age. We're kind of all in our late 20s, early 30s, so everyone is having babies right now, and it's wonderful, and it's really exciting, and yeah, it's exciting for us to watch families grow and be a part of that as well. But it's tiring. Thanks so much for watching this video, and thank you for coming along on my slightly Christmassier knitting update. It was fun to kind of put this together a little bit and shoot some festive scenes. I think someone had left a comment on one of my last videos saying that they really like the kind of combination between some calming, just chill background stuff and then also talking about knitting. And I like that combination as well. I think that just sitting in front of the camera and talking is a bit too much for me. I like to give some sort of visual interest as well, and I like it when other creators do that too. So I think I will be doing a little bit more of that going forward. Not too much. I don't want it to become like vloggy, and I don't really have the mental space to ever create vlogs, I think. Like, that's not really I'm not really interested in doing that. But, and I will always come and talk about my knits, but I think that, yeah, breaking it up a little bit with just some quiet, reflective scenes is also really valuable, for knitting time. So, and yeah, I hope you like that sort of thing, and, thank you for watching and visiting my channel, and as always, I'm very grateful for everyone who's commenting, and like, I've had messages on Ravelry and on Instagram from people, and I've connected with some of you and have like formed a small friendship with some of you as well, and that's really, I value that a lot. I value the connection. I don't want it to just be me talking at you. I like to also gain wisdom and knowledge from the people who like share what they have with me as well. So, and that's all part of it. So it's really a joy to kind of have that exchange. So thank you for that. And I hope you have a Merry Christmas. This will be my last video for 2024, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.